synopsis of the video action here. Child abuse activist Leon Porter was assaulted and falsely imprisoned by a demonically violent Jehovah's Witness. His colleague Derek O'Hare has also been persecuted for his part in exposing the Watchtower sex abuse scandal. Well, one of the viewers commented and noted that indeed the whole world is watching, metaphorically. And we have Dave Huxtable jumps in and says, "You wish, bitch. You wish that Jehovah's Witnesses were being viewed by the entire world, but, well, let's learn a little something about David Huxtable." And, well, just a quick look, we find out that he is somebody that, among his favorite videos is some of that good Jehovah's Witness stuff. And the 2000 International Convention News Report, oh, that was a good news report. I remember that one. And, well, David, he watches the satanic news media when it is promoting the Jehovah's Witness events, but he says you wish that the world was watching. Other than that news program that he added to his favorite videos. And well, my thing is rustling jimmies now. If I didn't mention that, that's my whole new thing now. I like to rustle the jimmies. Rustling people's jimmies. You wish no one was watching, you pedophile. And Dave Huxtable writes back and says, "Thank you for confirming the level of mentality I expected." And I said, "You only confirm your own hypocrisy and corruption. Tell us truthfully, is the world watching Jehovah's Witnesses or not?" Let me ask you in the audience, have you, how many talks have you ever heard or magazines read that indicated that the whole world is watching us, brothers? Isn't that the whole idea of Jehovah's Witnesses? Is that the whole world is going to get that witness. And the whole world is going to observe the true people, and that's why they hate them so much. Well, you can't hate Jehovah's people if you aren't taking note of them. Oh, we didn't notice you. If we did, we would have hated you very, very much. Because we're Satan's people, and therefore we don't like you. Because you worship the true God Jehovah. Well, I asked David, are you trying to have it both ways? Is the world watching Jehovah's Witnesses, or what's going on? And he says, no. On the record, when a Jehovah's people tells you that no, the world is not watching Jehovah's Witnesses, and therefore they can get away with quite a bit. There's no reason to be watching this video because it's not important, and what Jehovah's Witnesses are doing behind the scene doesn't really matter. Why are you doing this? And so I say, so last year when JW.org claimed they were successfully giving a witness to all the inhabited earth, were they being deceitful or just being delusional? Org webpage here. And last year, just to recap, in case you forgot kind of what was going on, Jehovah's Witnesses witnessed to all the nations. And, well, you can read this article on your own time. It goes into depth about how the good news of the kingdom is being preached in all the inhabited earth for a witness to all the nations. And then the end will come. As soon as Jehovah's Witnesses complete their work. It's waiting on them. The JW.org website is certainly proving to be a very effective tool in teaching all the nations in the short time remaining before the end comes. But amazingly, this is done under the cloak of invisibility, and Jehovah's Witnesses are not being watched, somehow. I guess? Well, these good old Jehovah's Witness types like Dave Huxtable, they like to have it both ways. When Jehovah's Witnesses are getting a friggin'... What the frig is this? Oh! Our World, news about the environment, religion, and society. When there is a news video that is promoting Jehovah's Witnesses, well, Dave's all for it. But then when you have a different video showing an actual Jehovah's Witness choking an actual mother frigger, hey, let's watch this! Yeah!
What are you doing?
What are you
doing?
What are you doing? Your family.
Yes.
Yeah? We mean no harm to your family.
We mean no harm to your family.
Yeah? Get off me.
Get off me! Get off me!
Get off me.
Did you all forget about this video? I watch it every day! Come on! Choke that pig! Come on! Kill him! Kill Leon! Kill him!
Please let go of me.
I ain't got you.
Please let go of me!
Now. Let go. If you want me to go, then let go of me.
If you want me to go, then let go of me! Fuck you! Fuck you! By the way, I think this could be the musician Prince. It's not been determined yet. It's entirely possible it's him. And he says, "Any evidence of a scam?" And I said, "Oh yeah. The generation of 1914 that would by no means passed away is dead. And JW.org kept all their money. Scam. Pretty easy." And my good buddy Steppanoff said, "I notice how he doesn't even argue with false prophecies, teachings, etc. anymore. Warrior Prince, congratulations on waking up." Well, I responded and said, 1914 by no means passing away is a corner these liars painted themselves into. Each passing day and year, they are further up shit river. Hear me now, believe me later. Every day that passes, it will become increasingly torturous to be on Jehovah's side of the fence. Every day, what? We're not getting any we're not going backwards! We're not getting closer to 1914! We keep getting further away from it! Anyway, well, he doesn't say anything back. He just disappears into the woodwork again. I've noticed, I'll tell you something, these JWs, you say a couple things back to them, they disappear. These douchebags are dropping like flies. Look at this guy, he has something to say about anything. But anytime I say something back to him, he disappears. Here's Mike Sarasoli. He says, "I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I have to say that I was treated like family. And I have never seen any of the things mentioned in these stories. I honestly have nothing negative to say about them." To which I questioned, "Mike, what do you mean used to be? Question mark. Baptized?" "Yes, I was baptized JW. I fell away from it because of its strict rules, I guess. Did not have the strength to stick it out." And I said, "But Mike, I thought the yoke is kindly and the load is light. Why did it not refresh your soul?" He says, "Oh, JWs do not celebrate holidays, including birthdays. They also do not believe in blood transfusions. And the slightest infractions can put you before one of the elders and get you disfellowshipped. But I have nothing negative to say. They are very strict. ... Well, there's a lot he's not saying there, indicated by the dot structure, the polka dots. And he says, "Well, they're very strict." And I say, "Huh? But there is no law in the Bible against birthdays. How could that be a strict rule?" And Mike says, "Well, they only celebrate Christ's death." Why would you celebrate Christ's death? "Attention to Jehovah only. No H. And they only take part in the world's affairs." Oh, I mean, they take no part in the world's affairs. Except telling them what to do. And I said, "And that didn't refresh your soul?" I'm just trying to understand. 1 John 5:3 says, "The love of God means to keep his commandments, and yet his commandments are not burdensome." I'm trying to understand, therefore, why would being a JW feel burdensome to you? And Mike changes the subject a little bit and says, "Are you a man of God, JW Fairy Tale?" Am I a man of God? I am a man that knows nobody is good except one, God. I am a man who believes the Bible's word that there is no man righteous on this earth, and that all of mankind are defective, and all of them together have become worthless. Jehovah has looked down from heaven itself upon the sons of men to see whether there is anyone having insight, anyone seeking Jehovah. Guess what? They have all turned aside. They are all alike, corrupt. There is no one doing good, not even one. So I am trying to understand the boldness of those who would go beyond things written and disfellowship someone celebrating a birthday when there is no such law of forbiddance in God's word. And I referred Mike to, well, we'll take a look at it here. This is just a page from JW Facts here. Oh, we don't have time to read through all this, but it's on the topic of birthday celebrations, which is a big hang-up for the Jehovah's Witnesses. They mean business. You celebrate a birthday, you get disfellowshipped. This disfellowshipping offense, we're talking about the end of your life. We're talking about death at Armageddon over a birthday party. And, well, this goes into, if you have time, take a look at this. I'll post a link below. You know, it's just something that's comes with the package of being a JW, and most people just don't even think about it. It's like, oh, I became a JW, so I don't celebrate birthdays now. And they don't even think about it. When they go through their study and they say, well, you have to give up birthdays, and they say, oh, and they say, well, it's because birthday was only mentioned twice in the Bible, and both times it was a worldly person. Didn't serve Jehovah. So what do you think Jehovah's trying to tell us? Well, it's the two bad birthdays. Two of them, both very bad. Even stuff around your house can be traced back to pagan origins, and they say, well, that's different. And it also brings out here, just quick reminder that the Bible says that Jesus went on observing all the customs of the Jewish people of his time, and that would naturally include bar mitzvah, which is a celebration of a boy's 12th birthday. So Jesus celebrated his birthday. When Jesus was born, they had the angels circle around and celebrate Jesus. They had a birthday. They had a miniature birthday party for Jesus. And they told all the people, all the shepherds standing outside to have a birthday party for Jesus too. So how could it be a disfellowshipping offense if Jesus and the angels do it? Well, you kind of start figuring out what's really going on is they don't want you to have fun. Man of God. Blasphemous. Blasphemy! As if God needed a man of earthling clay and dust. Oh, I'm like a truck stop waitress. I just need a good man in my life. I just keep waiting for a good man to come along for me to settle down with. JW Facts. That's oxymoronical. You ever think about that? Well, I'm just trying to protect my family from porn, though. What? I am. I don't want my wife to see a wiener. It would ruin everything. I don't want my wife to find out what a wiener actually is. Because, well, it's not a JW fact. It's just very apropos, I think, that there's a porn blocker on the JW site. What? They have a huge problem with it. They do. Well, now for only $100,000, you can protect your family from porn. From that oh no moment when you see a wiener for the first time. Ruins everything. Just destroys the whole thing we're trying to do here with Jehovah. And it's the #1 rated porn blocker, I have to say. I've tried them all. Yes, this is certainly in the top 10, but now I rate it #1. I just want to protect my family from porn. Because I have selective foreknowledge. Dido Zobo. Oh no. Oh boy, buckle in everyone. He says, you know
If JW can be beloved and cherished by Satan's world, that to me will mean the following.
Here we go.
That the Bible account is in fact incorrect. That JW are not Jehovah's people at all.
What is this new thing with Jehovah's with no H? This is like the 4th time this week.
And they too belong to Satan's world. Hatred towards JW is compulsory. It must happen to indicate to observers like me that they are not part of this world.
Okay. You say so. And, he follows up.
Yeah! Fuck yeah, bitch. I like what I see. This is good. This hatred towards JW only confirms one thing to me. That they are the chosen ones. 5 exclamation point. Now it makes sense. A perfect sense. Consider this for a sec. We live on planet Earth. We live on planet Earth, right? Well, planet Earth is ruled by Satan, the Lord of the Earth. JW, Jehovah's people, also live on planet Earth.
And, well, there's a read more button.
JW also live on planet Earth. Coincidence? Planet Earth, also known as Satan's world, among Satan's people. Follow me? Satan is, by the way, Jehovah's enemy.
What? Wait! Oh, I do get it now. Satan and Jehovah. Oh, they're enemies. They don't get along, do they? Yeah, I'm seeing it now. Okay. Well, a lot of stuff makes sense now, looking back.
So, JW living on Satan's world among Satan's people equals to overwhelming hatred towards JW. So I wonder, these JW who keep responding to nasty video clips, comments, and insults here by the Satanists, what are they hoping to accomplish? I really wonder, 1L. Are they hoping to be loved by these Satanists eventually? To me, it all seems that these anti-JW are not here to learn or understand anything about JW. They are just here to wage war against JW, and that's all.
If you're wondering what video we're on, it's this old video again, where I called Kingdom Halls and said, "Is it okay that I'm an apostate, but I still love you? Is that okay?" And I got a variety of responses. But just a quick recap, if you wondered what instigated this War of the Worlds here. Well, it was me saying, "Is it okay for me to come to the Kingdom Hall and just tell everyone that I love them?" And they said, "Well, that's not a good idea." And I said, "Well, what if I come and I don't say anything? I just shake hands with people and hug them just because I love them." And they say, "No, that's still not a good idea." And I said, "Well, could you just tell all the brothers at the hall? I just want to tell the brothers and sisters that I love them, even though I don't agree with their Bible views." And they said, "No, we can't do that for you. We will not give that message." And I said, "You won't tell them that I love them?" "Nope, can't do that." So just a quick reminder of this satanic world war that is happening.
So, let the war begin, bitch. I just want to see the ending. Can't wait. Come on, accelerate the battle. My eyes are hungry.
Just responding to Dito's Oboe and reminding him, anyone loving violence, my soul certainly hates, says Jehovah God. So you might want to, that bloodthirst for the violence there, you might want to tone that down, since Jehovah kind of says that he doesn't really like violence. And in fact, he hates anyone that likes it. Well, Dito says, I don't have a choice, bitch, but to observe. What if I happen to exist in a violent world and I choose to observe instead of looking away? Well, the Bible also says to turn your eyes away from what's bad. So, yeah, you can look at the ground, look at the sky. You have no reason to look at violence. There's no reason for any Christian to be looking at violence. Not necessary.
Does that mean I am not a violence lover happening in front of my eyes?
Just a quick reminder, there is no actual violence taking place. It's all in his mind. Well, just a technicality. There is no actual violence occurring except in his mind and his heart and in his bloodlust that he is licking his chops about. And who is he talking to anyway? Well, we don't even know. But I just have to jump in here and kindly, just very gently correct Dido and say, wrong. Dido, you do have a choice. You could be trying to save lives out in the field ministry or preparing for tomorrow's ministry. Instead, you are celebrating worldly people's death prematurely on YouTube. Bad form. I'm afraid to say, if you feel JWs are being persecuted, you should pray for those persecuting you and continue blessing those who curse you, as per Bible admonition. As exemplified by our Heavenly Father Jehovah, who shows patience because he does not desire any to be destroyed. Our merciful Creator Jehovah makes his sun rise upon wicked people and good, and makes it rain upon righteous people and unrighteous, because he does not wish to see even a single of these little ones perish. His words. So I am perplexed, Dido, as to why you are excited to see the deaths of those in the world hastened. Are you not unlike the disobedient Jonah, who decided to sit back and watch the Ninevites die rather than save their lives with the preaching of God's word? Did you learn nothing from the Bible account of King Manasseh, who repented and found forgiveness after committing a great abundance of evil? What worldly person do you know who committed more evil than Manasseh? And yet King Manasseh found favor with Jehovah. So why are all these JWs writing off worldly people all the time? Do they have such little faith in Jehovah's saving ability? Why are you judging people whom God told you not to? See 1 Corinthians 5:12. The scriptures say, everyone that goes running ahead and does not remain in the teaching of Christ goes without God. Don't run ahead, people. So I am wondering, Dido, why have you usurped Jehovah's position and abandoned your own low station? Anyway, this JW stuff of always talking about the death of... They're always talking about Armageddon. You go to the district conventions. You go to the Kingdom Hall meetings. They're always sitting there listening to someone on stage describing the death scenes at Armageddon. The buildings collapsing. People turning into human hot dogs when they're cooked alive. Which, by the way, they're still... I'm still trying to remember what scripture that's from, but it is in there. People will turn to human hot dogs and split open and be cooked. It smells like hot dogs in the air when they are dying. That smell of burning flesh. Sometimes you wonder though, it's like, why not just leave all that stuff to Jehovah? Because that's Jehovah's business, right? Your business is to be peaceable with all men, to be as innocent as doves, and to pray for those who are persecuting you. Have you ever noticed that the JWs that I'm around, I see on YouTube, they don't spend very much time doing that, do they? They spend a lot of time talking about Armageddon. Spend a lot of time wringing their hands and worrying about what ex-Jehovah's Witnesses or apostates are up to. I just would like to see them persevere in prayer. That's all I'm saying. Get off your computer, get on your knees, and persist in prayer. Can you do that for me? Oh no, I'll do the opposite because you're an apostate. So, nice try. Brooke is a Jehovah's Witness, and she was responding to a Jehovah's Witness comment. That Jehovah's Witness proceeded to immediately delete their entire thread. And, well, you'll understand why here when you read what is going on. I tell Brooke, I went to the trouble of retrieving your original comment so there is no misunderstanding. It's followed by my question to you, which was immediately when this all got deleted by the other person. The floor is yours, Brooke. And I had this on another screen, and so I copied and repasted it. Brooke Grondin, 15 minutes ago, edited, said, I think everyone struggles with that issue. A little, but when you have children, you start to realize what he means and how he sees it in terms of bullies. Raising kids to be future bullies. When you know there is no way your child can go anywhere without there being more, you start to see where Jehovah's coming from. With wanting to end it all for the sake of his children. Well, it's crazy talk, but I'm used to, hey, I go to the Kingdom Hall. This is my, she's talking my language. And I'm sorry you have to sit through it, but there is a point to all this. I would like to say to everyone reading this, that Jehovah can also see someone and who they will become. I'll reread that for you a second time. I know exactly what she's talking about. You may not. I would like to say to everyone reading this, Jehovah can also see someone and who they will become. I'd like to propose to everyone to do this mental exercise for me. We're going on to thin ice right now. Get ready. Picture a stage. On it there are two mothers. They are holding their dear sweet babies in their arms, showing them to the audience. Both are so adorable, you just want to squeeze them and hold them and kiss them. I doubt it. The baby on the left is named David, and he's so sweet. The baby on the right is named Adolf Hitler. Surprise twist. Now, if you had the power to see into the future and stop this right here and now on the stage, just think about it, okay? Jehovah knows what he's doing. And, well, here's the follow-up. I said, hey, Brooke, I'm glad you brought that up. Can you explain Jehovah's selective foreknowledge to me? Thanks. And within seconds of me typing that is when the other Jehovah's Witness, look, it was either Brooke or the other Jehovah's Witness. One of them hit the delete button, and I think it was the other lady, and she put her hands up and said, "I'm out." She tapped out of this ring. Not just Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm sure other religions have it too. The idea is that Jehovah can see the future and know the future sometimes. Sometimes Jehovah knows the future and sometimes he doesn't. Well, it's, and you're like, well, how does that work? Either you know everything or you don't. And therein is kind of is where we get into some weird and wild stuff. But Jehovah, he's just so silly, isn't he? Well, Jehovah decides it's selective. Sometimes he's all-knowing, and then other times he just doesn't know. Well, it's not actually a Bible thing. It is a kind of a product of necessity. We'll read more about what's going on. And, Brooke says, I'm sorry I haven't replied. Such today in a feverish, but I appreciate your willingness to do that and post it and to show you are fair and da-da-da-da-da-da. And she says, da-da-da-da-da. And she says, I meant to say I'm sick today. Can you define the topic in your question? Then I'll do my best. La 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 la. I think my phone is out of date or something. Because it's not showing on the phone. I have a fever and an ear infection and many other things. La 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 la. Oh, here's the funny part. She said, and at some point I want to finish my movie. American Hustle. Starring Christian Bale. American Hustle. It's a rated R movie about sex. I just thought that was funny. Wow. And what? What is JW rationalizing? I remember, by the way, I've had these conversations with Jehovah's Witnesses too. I remember Now she is probably, and you're saying, well, this lady's a Jehovah's Witness. How could she be watching American Hustle? Well, she's probably covering her eyes during the nudity or something like that. I've known Jehovah's Witnesses that do things like this. I remember being over at this fellow's house. His name was Rodney, and we were sitting on this couch, and he had these rated R movies, and I was over at his house, and he popped in a rated R DVD, and I said, "Wait, isn't this movie have a R rating?" And he said, "Oh, it's okay, because I fast forward through the rated R parts." And I say, "Well, how do you know when something's going to be rated R? Like, how do you know when something's going to be inappropriate?" And he goes, "Oh, I can feel it coming." And I say, "Well, no, don't you have to watch a little bit of the inappropriate parts to indicate when it's time to fast forward?" And he said, No, I just have that sense. I can it's like a spider sense. I can just kind of sense it coming and fast forward. I fast forward through a lot of the movies, so it's like watching an edited movie on TV." By the way, 2 grown men were having this conversation, like we're Heckle and Jekyll or something. Well, it's like Jehovah's foreknowledge. This is like selective foreknowledge. And I say, Brooke chimes in again and says, "Actually, there are multiple directions in which you could be directing your intent of questions, so I have to ask first. Floor is yours now. Which particular aspect of this are you asking about? For example, are you asking about how Jah could know some things, but not know others?" "Yes." Pretty much. Know the finale, but not have seen the downfall of man coming?" "Yeah." Or do you just want to know what the meaning or definition is?" "No, I already know that. I'm trying to understand how does it work." "Do you want me to know if he is ever intentionally selective about it?" "Well, he has to be." "Which particular things are you asking me? And of course, if it's something not listed here, tell me that too." And I say specifically, the Watchtower teaching that Jehovah sometimes knows the future and sometimes does not. Can you explain how that goes? And also what scriptures it is extrapolated from? Thanks again. And Brooke says, "At the moment I have a mind craned and can't find the specific scripture, but I can explain it, and I'll explain it more later. It's much like as we as our parents teach our children rules, and sometimes we watch to make sure they do what's right, and other times we sit back and see what they'll do." And anyway, this goes on, but Brooke says that she says, "I'll reply more later, as my headache is making me in so much pain and wanting to vomit. I'm sorry, but more later." And I tell Brooke, "I'm sorry you're sick. Feel better soon." And, well, she's not coming back. But she posited this scenario of 2 babies on the district convention stage. One of them is named David, and he's so cute. The other one is named Hitler. Well, something to think about, though. Jehovah didn't stop Hitler. Jehovah didn't kill baby Hitler. Well, where does this whole thing come from? Well, Jehovah does the prophecies in the Bible. He's Mr. Prophecy, always telling from the beginning of the matter to the end. And the problem, though, is that people have said, well, wait, why would Jehovah do the whole Garden of Eden thing? He spent millions of years creating planet Earth, and then he spent thousands of years putting the Garden of Eden together and making everything perfect. And then like 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or whatever after Adam was created, then the whole thing fell apart. And then the next thousands and thousands of years, people are suffering and living in pain and in ruin. And it's like Jehovah was negligent. Because Jehovah's supposed to be the guy that knows everything and can see the future. And they say, well, he has that selective foreknowledge. You see, Jehovah decided not to see the future that time. When he wants to do prophecies is when he sees the future. Because he very accurately foretold Jesus being pierced and being, I don't know, them handing wine to him on a reed stick. Or it's a very, very detailed and accurate prophecies about Jesus' ministry and last days. And yet, something like the Garden of Eden and Satan betraying him and destroying the entire future of the human race for thousands of years, for some reason Jehovah was caught off guard. the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve are hiding naked in the bushes, he said, "Where are you?" What, is this guy on drugs? I thought he could see everything. I thought he reads everyone's mind all at once. You can't even hide your thoughts from Jehovah because presumably he can see them. And yet for some reason, he couldn't read Satan's thoughts. That Satan had this plan where he was going to sneak into the Garden of Eden, pretend to be a snake, and trick people. By the way, Adam and Eve, they're the equivalent of toddlers, right? Because, well, they weren't born babies. They were created as full-grown adults, but they're even toddlers have an advantage over them because toddlers watch Sesame Street. So they have some idea of what the outside world entails, correct? Adam and Eve have no frame of reference. They have no context. They don't know their asshole from a pothole in the ground, right? Just a reminder of what's going on. And Jehovah, what is this guy doing up there? This guy was asleep in his guard tower. This is the guy that sits on the watchtower, right? This is the guy who sits on the top and he sees everything. He's in the Pleiades with his telescope and he's watching. Did he have something else going on I don't know about? This was his big thing, right? He created the universe, put the planet Earth at the center of it, and the Earth is a jewel to his eye. The Garden of Eden, what is it? 3 square miles? I don't know. It's a garden. This is his big thing. This is the man he's created in his image. And for some reason, he couldn't foresee that something might not go according to plan, but he doesn't take responsibility for that. Instead, he decided that he's not going to look into the future. By the way, you don't have to be a gypsy with a crystal ball to guess what's going to happen next. I'm just some schmuck and I could have told you what was going to happen, right? Well, calm down. Anyway, the idea forget Adam and Eve. It could be anything, like Brooke was talking about. There's a million different ways you could approach this. All the bad things that go on all the time. Did Jehovah not see these things about to, like the tsunami that hit the Philippines a couple of years ago and killed all the Jehovah's Witnesses and destroyed the Kingdom Halls? Did Jehovah have selective foreknowledge where he didn't see that coming? Or did he see it coming and say, I could give a little 24-hour warning to my servants in the Philippines and they could all live and survive, but nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stand back and watch them die. Oh, if they didn't have enough money to pay their rent, I'd magically leave a $50 bill under their sink. Oh, if their service car had a flat tire, I'd have somebody come along and replace it for them for free because that's what I do. But I knew that there was going to be an earthquake followed by a tsunami and a tropical storm or whatever. Or I don't even know what are these things. Oh, I think I'm getting Japan and I get all these countries mixed up. But the idea is that Jehovah hey, I don't even know what's going on. This guy is supposed to know what's going on. You're not doing anything. And, well, the Jehovah's Witnesses, again, like I said, this isn't something solidified in the scriptures themselves. It's something that they reasoned from the scriptures because they had to. It's a deductive thing they did because it was born of necessity. That they had to explain how come Jehovah sometimes knows stuff and sometimes doesn't. The largest and most glaring instance of which is Raymond France, or as I call him, Ramondo Francois. Raymond France. If Jehovah, he's the apostasy, the big thing that's the biggest threat to Jehovah's people there is. And yet, it came from Jehovah's house. See, that's the thing about apostasy, that they're talking about Satan's world, Satan's world, Satan's world. Raymond France, the biggest, baddest, worst apostate of all time that started this whole trend of apostasy to Jehovah's people, he didn't come from Satan's world. He came from Jehovah's world. Huh? Why would Jehovah God bring Raymond France into his world, baptize him? Excuse me, people that get baptized are drawn to the mountain of holy of Jehovah's holy and pure worship, right? You can't become a Jehovah's Witness of your own accord. You have to be called by Jehovah. And to go over the questions for baptism, to go through that process, to be appointed as an elder, to be anointed as a member of the governing body, all of these things have to be done by Jehovah, correct? You're not even like someone's Bible study. We're talking about somebody that Jehovah, and I know Jehovah handpicked Judas, but that was for the purpose of sacrificing his son. So tell me, who is it that Jehovah was going to be sacrificing with Raymond Franz when he brought Judas into his 12 apostles? Well, does that mean Jehovah intended for things to get messed up? Did that mean Jehovah intended for the great apostasy of 1980 to occur? Well, I don't know. Well, Jehovah, or the easier explanation they go with is Jehovah has that selective foreknowledge. Sure, Jehovah can know the future, but he doesn't use it. It's like a superpower he doesn't use all the time. Because he doesn't want to be a dick. He's like, you know, he's like God, but he doesn't want to lord it over you, you know? He doesn't want to be like one of the elders. And so he is, you know, he's trying to keep it cool. He likes to keep his powder dry. Yes, he has his power to know everything and see everything, but he doesn't want to overuse it. The winning image is so seriously twisted and sick. Well, I'm sorry this nice lady had to see this. But I didn't try. What? What? This is something that's in the... guys grabbing the... well, there's a lot going on there. But anyway, calm down, everyone. Well, we're sorry we had to go there, but she said, it's twisted and sick. Your videos have really given me much clearer vision of what the hell happened during my upbringing in the Watchtower. It's so much deeper than false, failed prophecies. Yes, Watchtower protecting pedophiles? I can't get over. I'm the same thing too, question mark. Why? What is the big deal here? Why are they so insistent on the pedophile thing? Well, you gotta wonder. People getting disfellowship for turning pedophiles into the police? High-level Freemasonry of Watchtower founders? And probably even the current GB? Wouldn't be surprised since they're so bloodthirsty killing children with the blood transfusion rule. And in that sense, the feeling of something evil being in the air in the JW world, consciousness. Your videos not only expose, but they validate. Love your conversations with Yahweh to hell. So validating. And I've spoken of it many times before, the atmosphere of evil that's there, and you may say it's a negative. There's many descriptives. Put it into the dark cloud. I refer to it as the dark cloud. Other people, well, I know the people of the Kingdom Hall call it the bubble of Jehovah's protection, and you may think that they're speaking about something figurative or imaginary. I assure you, it is quite real, and it's not a figment of somebody's manner of speech or some dirty look somebody gives you. It's not even what we're talking about. My good friend Tony, I met Tony Prime about 2 years ago. We were fast friends, became instant friends, spent a lot of the time talking on the phone. And I remember one conversation we were having some time ago in which I said, Tony, Jehovah's Kingdom, Jehovah's organization, what does it sound like? And he said, sound like? He said, it's a humming noise. And I said, yes, the humming noise. It sounds like a battery of fluorescent light bulbs. That may be why they have the giant fluorescent lights inside Kingdom Hall, and you may attribute the buzzing and the humming to the fluorescent lights. Well, you go home at night, and the humming is still there. You're walking through the parking lot on your way into the district convention. The humming, it begins. It's a rattling. It's in your mind, it's in your ears, you can feel it overtaking you. It's like you're walking into the, anyway, you're walking into it. And the closer you get to it, it envelops you. And you viewing at home may have no inkling of the supernatural world. And I have neither the time nor patience to convince you of it, and I wouldn't be successful anyway. So the only thing I would say, the Smurf story is probably the most famous instant. Well, the toy Smurf. The legend goes that it got up and walked out of the Kingdom Hall. And I just want you to look inside your heart. How sincerely do you believe that that didn't happen? Well, that's how certain I am that it did happen and take place. Or some version of it. I believe that a toy did walk out of the Kingdom Hall. I believe that a JW mother did go into her crying baby's room and looked in the crib and saw her Smurf pajamas drenched in blood. And when the pajamas were removed, there was no injury to the child. JW fairy tales, oh, the stories I have to tell you, you wouldn't believe. That's why I don't tell them to you. You wouldn't know what to do with them. Stories of objects levitating. People having conversations with Jehovah in dreams. People seeing dead relatives eating their children in dreams. People traveling into the new system. And the controversial voice decides to jump in and address Soul Fitness Diva, and he said, "You should read the KS 10-2012 Elders book." Now, why would anyone do that? You're not supposed to do that. It's available online. Against copyright law. Wait, you're telling people to... Wait. Page 131. Child abuse is a crime. No shit. Somebody gotta tell you that? Never suggest to anyone that they should not report an allegation of child abuse to the police or other authorities. If you are asked, make it clear that whether to report the matter to the authorities or not is a personal decision for each individual to make. No, it's not. It's an automatic thing that should be done instantly. Or you can think of it as a personal decision for each individual to make, and that there are no congregation sanctions for either decision. Wait, shouldn't there be? If you're a Jehovah's Witness and you say, boy, I don't think I'm going to report a serious crime that's a felony. Well, that's your decision. There's no sanction either way. It's up to you. Elders will not criticize anyone who reports such an allegation. You're worrying about if an elder criticizes somebody?
Boy, I can't decide whether or not I should report child molestation because I don't want to be criticized for it.
Huh? The elders will not criticize anyone who reports such an allegation. After all, it's their decision. It's up to their personal conscience. If the victim wishes to make a report, it is his or her absolute right to do so. And this guy posted it like we're supposed to clap or something. This guy's serious. He acts like he just shut down the whole thing. What a mess. By the way, this whole thing is 2 paragraphs long. It should have been 2 sentences. Child abuse is a crime, and we report crimes. What is all this? Anyway, he decided to jump in and tell this lady that she needs to read that. And I respond and say, no. You should watch video testimony of people abused, harassed, and threatened by the elders. Editing a 2012 book isn't going to erase decades of Watchtowers' disgusting sex-related crimes against abused children and their advocates. And I link him to about 3 or 4 videos here. I will put the links to these videos in the description box below because I think it's worth your time, you and the audience, to watch these videos. It might take you about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I assure you, it is worth it. And I give these videos for him to watch. And he says, well, most of the videos argue that the organization says to cover it up. All I did was provide the documentation to show that that is not the direction. Do you really believe that the Elder's Manual, that you were going to read an excerpt of it that directs people to cover up child molestation? Do you think there's a book Jehovah's Witnesses produce and print that says, by the way, it's our practice to cover up child molestation? By the way, this book was printed in 2012 when they know that every material that is given to the elders is also being leaked. So to you in the audience, I don't think you're stupid. I'm wondering if this man thinks that you're stupid. And this lady he's talking to is stupid and I'm stupid. And we're all dumber than he is. And so he's going to con us or manipulate us by asking us these preposterous questions. Does the organization say to cover it up? No, I guess they don't. Well, I guess there wasn't a problem. I guess it was all in our imagination. Because they don't have a book that tells people to cover it up. Cover up child molestation. I don't argue it happens. And I don't argue some congregations will try to cover it up. Then what are you arguing? What is your point? I must apologize. I forgot I was on JW Fairy Tales video. Wait, how could you forget that? Wait. You're on this video. You forgot what video you were watching. You'll have to excuse me, folks. I find this man incredibly dishonest. Just a feeling I'm getting. I must apologize. I forgot I was on JW Fairy Tales video. I have people tell me all the time how forgettable I am. I forgot that the serious people exposing JW issues won't have anything to do with this channel, as it's blind hate versus actual facts. Well, here's the problem, though. He's talking about actual facts, but this is his opining. Serious people exposing JW issues won't have anything to do with this channel, as it's blind hate. That's your opinion. That's not an actual fact. This guy is shifty and shady till the cows come home. And then he adds, I have to put my kids to bed, but I will watch these hopefully tonight and put some feedback. He had to drop that in. I didn't ask you anything about kids, whether or not you have kids. He inserted that to give himself credibility. And yet it just makes him seem more horrible, doesn't it? That he's on here. By the way, why did you... Here's if you're wondering why I have taken offense to this, and he's acting like he's done something completely innocent here. The elders don't necessarily tell people to cover up child molestation. Why is he compelled to do that? Because he could have written anything here, right? He could have posted a link to the Candace Conti video, or Silent Lambs, or JW Facts, or anything that would expose the reality of the situation, that thousands of people have indeed been abused and made victims partly because of this policy and this attitude and this culture. He decided to go into a different direction and post something that seems to be that this is a disaster to me, but he thinks that he really gave us a sizzling plate of shut the fuck up. And he seems pretty proud of himself, but to me it's disgraceful. I'm like, look, this woman is talking about how horrible it is that so many JW kids have been abused and sexually assaulted, and instead of saying instead of coming to their defense or saying, it's terrible. Oh, instead he wants to quote from the Elder's Handbook. As you see, he's using a propaganda technique of loaded language. Well, most of the videos argue. Who begins a sentence by saying, well? Well, brothers? Well, most of the videos argue that the organization says to cover it up. No. If you go to JW Facts or watch any factual video, the video is not arguing, it's just stating the fact that the elders are instructed to not immediately call the police, to immediately contact their superiors at the branch office. On the Nightline video, the elders are sitting there testifying in court, the dick wearing his blue shirt and sweater combo. You remember him? Well, he was just sitting there with his mouth gaping open like he didn't even know what was going on. He didn't need to know what was going on. That was what he told them. Well, we do it. We had our instructions and we did as we were instructed. Sitting there with his fucking mouth open like it doesn't concern him. Because it doesn't. That's what's going on. There's no book. There's no book Jehovah's Witnesses print where they say, we like child molestation. And we say it's not a crime. He's acting like this video is arguing that there's a book Jehovah's Witnesses make where they say, we like child molestation. It's very good. And we promote it. We want it to happen more and more often. How stupid do you think the audience is? And I say, wait, you have kids and you spend your time being a child sex scandal apologist? That's disgusting. Well, that's just how I feel. You in the audience, are you a parent? Would you tuck your kids into bed and then go online, and put on your superhero cape and then go out being a child sex apologist? And what are we supposed to do? Give this guy a trophy? What does this guy want? Well, he says, hoo-hoo, your big internet tough guy routine has hurt me. Right in my feelings box. I don't want to hear about your box. That's disgusting. Since you can't comment on anything and can only throw insults, I think I will call it quits here. Good! You suck at being a Watchtower apologist. You need to quit. You are a piece of shit! Oh, excuse me, I went too far there. I didn't mean to say that out loud. I was thinking that to myself and it came out. What kind of piece of shit has a kid and then spends their free time talking about how kids don't deserve to have... Well, if you decide to report a child molestation, that's up to you. We won't criticize you if you keep it to yourself. Who the fuck do these people think they are? Even the anti-JW peeps won't waste their time with you. Who cares? I didn't ask anyone to waste their time with me. That's sad considering what a supportive community they are. I don't give a damn how supportive. So what? A couple years ago, about 2.5 years ago, I made a video. Which it got circulated around. You may have seen it. In which I said, this may not be a popular thing to say, and maybe it's not politically correct, maybe you don't want to hear it. But I'll say it anyway. Since I am a point of controversy for people anyway, I'll just come out and say it. The ex-JW community has been infiltrated by rats. People who call themselves ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who are nothing of the sort. People who call themselves apostates. Here to expose the issues of JWs. But in fact, and you know this from your own experience and from your own eyes and ears, they spend their time attacking other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and defending the policies of the Watchtower Society just as if they were Jehovah's Witnesses themselves. They speak word for word everything an elder would tell you. Is that your feelings box getting hurt? See if I give a frig. And, well, we'll move on. You people don't have all day. We'll move on. And Soul Fitness Diva responds and said, now why on earth would I look at that book? Watchtower casualties scattered everywhere, and you suggest a rule book for me to look at? Why would I look at that when I have absolutely no interest in defending the Watchtower Society? Shaking my head. Me too. And controversial voice comes right back and says, didn't ask you to defend it. Just provided evidence that the direction from the top isn't to hide molestation, that's all. Just to recap, the direction is to call your superiors at the Watchtower Society and receive orders from them. The direction from the top isn't to hide child molestation. Well, what do you call it when you suggest that a person doesn't have to report it? We're just saying, it's up to you. We won't criticize you if you decide not to. Did you just read the same paragraph I did? They're acting as if it's something that is a debatable thing. Well, it's an internal thing you have to figure out for yourself. And, if you decide to keep the whole thing to yourself, we won't tell anyone. I honestly think Bricks can comprehend a simple statement better than you two. Wait, isn't this the guy that said I'm insulting him all the time? And in regards to your comment of everywhere, social media has made it more known, which I think is good, so that these persons hidden in the organized religion can be ousted. But it's not everywhere. I have been in 5 halls with over 500 persons, and no issues have even been whispered about molestation. Whispered? Like a whisper campaign? How long do you think you would last in a Kingdom Hall if you started whispering to people, oh, I heard the elders didn't disfellowship a child molester. Psst, 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 psst. Whisper, whisper, whisper. How long do you think you'd remain in that Kingdom Hall? You tell me. As you know, the organization is like a small town. So if ever there was a thought that someone was a molester, then the rumor would have gotten around as well. It happens, as it does everywhere, and I like the fact that people are getting caught more now. Shit, wait, if Jehovah's in charge of the organization, shouldn't they get caught every time? Huh. Wait, Jehovah, he's the one operating. How come all child molesters don't get caught all the time? How come Jehovah doesn't use his selective foreknowledge to give an anonymous tip to the elders or the parents or what is Jehovah doing, by the way? I like it that people being caught more now, and thanks to Satan's world. But the direction from the top, specifically for molestation, isn't to hide it, and that was my only point here. It's just one point. Here's my one point. That's the one point you chose to focus on and bring out. And you guys can't seem to grasp a simple piece of evidence. I even agree with you that it happens, and it has been covered up, and you still present it like I deny it. You may remember this guy from last episode of JW Fairy Tales. This is the same guy that when I said that people were disfellowshipped for being alone together, he said it's false and it's all lies. And then 5 minutes later, he conceded that it happens all the time. Just a reminder if you forgot who we're talking to. Well, not much has changed from one week to the next. Because now he gives you this paragraph which explains that, oh, Jehovah's Witness elders don't hide child molestation or cover it up. And then 5 minutes later, he's telling you that it does get covered up. And it keeps getting caught more and more now. Specifically molestation. That it keeps getting covered up and hidden in the organization. You can't seem to grasp a simple piece of evidence, though. I agree that it happens and it's being covered up. After he just pointed the evidence to you that it's not. Or that's not the direction. Okay, we'll stay on topic here. So, when you want to fight me, even when I agree, clearly you are just out to troll. Wait, This is my video. You came on here. You clicked on this video and you inserted yourself into a conversation from 2 months ago I was having with this lady. And you're saying we're out to troll you? Come on. Flipping reality inside out, upside down? Who does this remind you of? At this point, I redirect to Soul Fitness Diva and say, my apologies, madam. I'm sorry this ruffian chose to address you in the familiar, referencing a hey, a-hole tone, and then blaming you for what he arrogantly assumes you did or did not infer from his black and white text. I'm also sorry he suggested you are hitching your wagon to anyone's channel. Well, he deleted that. This idea that if you watch someone's video, you're hitching your wagon to their video. Ridiculous. I want you to know I would never imagine any such debased thing about you. It's preposterous. Lastly, I apologize for him barking at you to go read something. He's ordering this lady around. He doesn't even know her. Go read something from a strictly classified book forbidden by its makers to even be seen or touched by women. And then he's obnoxiously acting as if it's documentation that a woman like yourself should take seriously. Ridiculous. P.S. If this man or any other viewer ever takes such a cavalier familiarity towards you again, they will be warned once and banned upon second offense. I regret this man's choice to have an undignified interaction with you. I just hope this one unfortunate encounter has not marred your weekend otherwise. You literally made me laugh out loud. I like how you took my comment to clarify the tone and made it a negative when I was trying to let Soul Fitness Diva know that it was not to be read in an aggressive tone. What tone are you supposed to read it in when you are defending the Elder's Handbook? Oh, it's supposed to be in a happy-go-lucky tone of voice. You think the tone is going to change what we just read in the paragraph of them saying, well, if you don't want to report child molestation, that's up to you. We won't criticize you for it. We never have to bring it up again. I feel like Soul and I could have had a somewhat civil discussion. You felt that you could have strong-armed her, and then I jumped in and ruined that for you. That's what happened, right? You thought that you were going to push this lady around and get away with it. Not on this channel. Not ever. By the way, you totally were a JW at one point. You have mastered their manipulation techniques. Huh? You mean the techniques that are in the Elder's Handbook? Which you are promoting and defending? What a piece of work. And I redirect to Soul Fitness Diva again and tell her I personally found it repelling that the Elder's Book uses the phrase, whether or not to report abuse allegations. Let me backtrack and read that for you again. The Elder's Book uses the phrase, whether or not to report abuse allegations. And that's all you gotta know. You in the audience. Do we even need to proceed past this point? This Elder's Book that he thought he was gonna clear the Jehovah's Witnesses reputation with. This was his crowning jewel. This was his big achievement. That he found this one excerpt from the Elder's Book that he felt was not very damning. And so it could kind of, give them a little cleaner image. Contained the phrase, whether or not to report abuse allegation. As if there is a deliberation to be had. Question mark. Bottom line. Bottom line. Nothing this JW apologist can say will excuse or erase the many real-life examples of JW adults at the Kingdom Hall deciding it was in Jehovah's best interest for them not to call the police. That's what you just read, right? Well, that's up to each individual's conscience whether or not they call the police. By the way, the whole point of going in the back room with the elders is that they're going to kind of direct you and maneuver you and advise you and pray with you. How many times do you think they pray with the elders and the elders say, you know, I think it would be I think it would be good for Jehovah's name if you called the police and brought Jehovah's name into this. How many times do you think they had that conversation and that's how it ended? And he says, I'm impressed. I clearly hit a button with you today. Yeah, I guess child molestation going unreported is my button. You found my weak spot. It irritates me when people think that child molestation doesn't necessarily need to be reported. Normally, you would resort to name-calling and ignoring anything I provided, but tonight, I clearly mashed a button. I'm clapping. I'm golf clapping for you. You're a real hero. You quoted the paragraph I put in and twisted one sentence as if the direction was horrifying. Wasn't it easy how I did that? It's amazing how easily I can make Jehovah's Witness policies look horrifying. Yet if they put something definitive, you would highlight the fact no choice was given at all. And it is all brainwashing. It's lose-lose when speaking with you. You in the audience. What if the Elder's Manual said, whenever child molestation or child abuse is alleged or even suspected, just pick up the phone and call 911. How would I spin that as brainwashing? You in the audience, you tell me. Could I convince you that that's brainwashing? What, you think Jehovah's going to kill you at Armageddon for that? You think Jehovah's going to be pissed? Because he didn't want that child molestation to get reported. That was a matter of conscience, and you overstepped your bounds. Now, excuse me, I have to go back to watching my people dance inside my house to Happy at Bethel. What do you think is going on, by the way? You think Jehovah's ready to strike? Jehovah doesn't do anything. The reason we're even sitting here and talking about this is because Jehovah doesn't do anything, right? He doesn't stop people from getting molested, and he doesn't help them after they get molested, right? But the whole reason that you're deliberating over this and wondering what's the right thing to do is because you don't want to incur Jehovah's anger? Well, I'm guessing. I don't even know. You're trying to sidestep finding disfavor with Jehovah. Well, guess what? Apparently he doesn't even care that much because nothing's happening, right? So just call the friggin' police. Is it unreasonable for me to wonder why can't you just do that in every instance? Here, it is your choice whether or not you light your testicles on fire. Now this is another propaganda technique, reducing the issue to the absurd. That's an absurd comparison. We're talking about an innocent... Children are victims. You understand that? It's the adults that are doing that to them. They don't have any say in the matter. If they're attacked by an adult, they can't stop it from happening. And when the adults take the child in the back room to face their accuser, and then they're deciding whether or not to call the police, that's the whole point. The child doesn't have any say in that because they're children. Especially Jehovah's Witness children. They don't have any say in anything. It's like whether or not you light your testicles on fire. This guy's really awesome, isn't he? Oddly, the obvious would be not to do it. But you clearly have the freedom of choice. This has just reached a stupidity. A new level of stupidity. This is stupid even by Jehovah's Witness standards. And the same goes for that direction. Obviously, they should report, but for whatever reason, it's their choice not to as well. And I said, wait. I noted that doublespeak that Soul Fitness Diva brought up. I wonder if Candace Conti's congregation was one of these small towns he refers to, where children are kept safe through rumors being spread around. He forgot to mention that backroom meetings are strictly confidential and that murmuring and slander are disfellowshipping offenses in the Kingdom Hall. Subnote. The JW elders did not give a marking talk about confessed child molester Jonathan Kendrick. They gave him a letter of recommendation. This guy's talking about the policies and procedures of Jehovah's organization. He's leaving out we're talking about real life. We're not talking about hypotheticals. We're talking about real life, where this really occurred. And the official organization of Jehovah's Witnesses gave a child molester a clean letter of recommendation. Well, by the way, the irony here is that the Jehovah's Witnesses, they actually do have an institutional arrangement of doing whisper campaigns against people. It's called marking, in which they whispering about the elders or the organization itself is an instant disfellowshipping, but they do use whisper campaigns against people that they that have fallen out of their favor, and it's called marking. But oddly enough, they didn't put into place this procedure against a child molester. What better use of this procedure than against a child molester? Instead, they gave him a thumbs up. Gave him a letter of recommendation. I should go to bed anyways. I have a parade to take my kid to in the morning. I don't give a damn about your parade. Who takes a kid to a parade? That's Child Molester Central. Jesus. And I say, hey, tomorrow, while you are driving your kid to the parade, tell them the story of how Jehovah's Witness elders feel they are not obligated to report child sex allegations, and why that makes perfect sense to you, and so you stay up past midnight defending its merits online. Well, this dick, he's always talking about his kid. Tucking in his kid, taking his kid to the parade. And then other people's kids are getting molested and he doesn't give a damn. And in fact, he sides against them. He sides with the elders. Say, well, we'll decide whether or not that gets reported. We won't criticize people who keep it to themselves and don't report felonies. 'Cause it's other people's kids. Other people's kids, not mine. Every other kid in the world can die with fire, have buildings fall on them. Have birds and animals eat their bones. Gee, does that remind you of anyone you used to know? Douchebags are dropping like flies. Look at this guy. He has something to say about anything. But anytime I say something back to him, he disappears. Here's Mike Sarasoli. He says,
I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I have to say that I was treated like family. And I have never seen any of the things mentioned in these stories. I honestly have nothing negative to say about them.
To which I questioned, Mike, what do you mean used to be? Question mark. Baptized?
Yes, I was baptized JW. I fell away from it because of its strict rules, I guess. Did not have the strength to stick it out.
And I said, but Mike, I thought the yoke is kindly and the load is light. Why did it not refresh your soul? He says,
oh, JWs do not celebrate holidays, including birthdays. They also do not believe in blood transfusions, and the slightest infractions can put you before one of the elders and get you disfellowshipped. But I have nothing negative to say. They are very strict. ...
Well, there's a lot he's not saying there. indicated by the dot structure, the polka dots. And he says, well, they're very strict. And I say, huh? But there is no law in the Bible against birthdays. How could that be a strict rule? And Mike says, well, they only celebrate Christ's death. Why would you celebrate Christ's death?
Attention to Jehovah only, no H. And they only take part in the world's affairs. Oh, I mean, they take no part in the world's affairs. Except telling them what to do.
And I said, and that didn't refresh your soul? I'm just trying to understand. 1 John 5:3 says, the love of God means to keep his commandments, and yet his commandments are not burdensome. I'm trying to understand, therefore, why would being a J... Quick synopsis of the video action here. Child abuse activist Leon Porter was assaulted and falsely imprisoned by a demonically violent Jehovah's Witness. His colleague Derek O'Hare has also been persecuted for his part in exposing the Watchtower sex abuse scandal. Well, one of the viewers commented and noted that indeed the whole world is watching, metaphorically. And we have Dave Huxtable jumps in and says, you wish, bitch. You wish that Jehovah's Witnesses were being viewed by the entire world, but, well, let's learn a little something about David Huxtable. And, well, just a quick look, we find out that he is somebody that, among his favorite videos is some of that good Jehovah's Witness stuff. And the 2000 International Convention News Report, oh, that was a good news report. I remember that one. And, well, David, he watches the satanic news media when it is promoting the Jehovah's Witness events. But, he says you wish that the world was watching. Other than that news program that he added to his favorite videos. And well, my thing is rustling jimmies now. If I didn't mention that, that's my whole new thing now. I like to rustle the jimmies. Rustling people's jimmies. You wish no one was watching, you pedophile. And Dave Huxtable writes back and says, thank you for confirming the level of mentality I expected. And I said, you only confirm your own hypocrisy and corruption. Tell us truthfully, is the world watching Jehovah's Witnesses or not? Let me ask you in the audience, have you, well, how many talks have you ever heard or magazines read that indicated that the whole world is watching us, brothers? Isn't that the whole idea of Jehovah's Witnesses? Is that the whole world is going to get that witness? And the whole world is going to observe the true people, and that's why they hate them so much. What, you can't hate Jehovah's people if you aren't taking note of them? Oh, we didn't notice you. If we did, we would have hated you very, very much. Because we're Satan's people, and therefore we don't like you. Because you worship the true God Jehovah. Well, I asked David, are you trying to have it both ways? Is the world watching Jehovah's Witnesses, or what's going on? And he says, no. On the record, one of Jehovah's people tells you that no, the world is not watching Jehovah's Witnesses, and therefore they can get away with quite a bit. There's no reason to be watching this video because it's not important, and what Jehovah's Witnesses are doing behind the scene doesn't really matter. Why are you doing this? And so I say, so last year when JW.org claimed they were successfully giving a witness to all the inhabited earth, were they being deceitful or just being delusional? Org webpage here. And last year, just to recap, in case you forgot kind of what was going on, Jehovah's Witnesses witnessed to all the nations. And, well, you can read this article on your own time. It goes into depth about how the good news of the kingdom is being preached in all the inhabited earth for a witness to all the nations. And then the end will come. As soon as Jehovah's Witnesses complete their work, it's waiting on them. The JW.org website is certainly proving to be a very effective tool in teaching all the nations in the short time remaining before the end comes. But amazingly, this is done under the cloak of invisibility, and Jehovah's Witnesses are not being watched somehow. I guess? Well, these good old Jehovah's Witness types like Dave Huxtable, they like to have it both ways. When Jehovah's Witnesses are getting a friggin'... What the frig is this? Oh! Our World, news about the environment, religion, and society. When there is a news video that is promoting Jehovah's Witnesses, well, Dave's all for it. But then when you have a different video showing an actual Jehovah's Witness choking an actual mother frigger, hey, let's watch this! Yeah!
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Your family. Yes. Yeah? I mean no harm to your family.
You mean no harm to your family?
Yeah? Get off me. Get off me.
Get off me! Get off me!
Get off me.
Did you all forget about this video? I watch it every day! Come on! Choke that pig! Come on! Kill him! Kill Leon! Kill him!
Please let go of me.
I got you.
Please let go of me!
Now. Let go. If you want me to go, then let go of me.
If you want me to go, then let go of me! Fuck you! Fuck you! By the way, I think this could be the musician Prince. It's not been determined yet. It's entirely possible it's him. And he says, "Any evidence of a scam?" And I said, "Oh yeah. The generation of 1914 that would by no means passed away is dead. And JW.org kept all their money. Scam. Pretty easy." And my good buddy Stepanoff said, "I notice how he doesn't even argue with false prophecies, teachings, etc. anymore. Warrior Prince, congratulations on waking up." Well, I responded and said, 1914 by no means passing away is a corner these liars painted themselves into. Each passing day and year, they are further up shit river. Hear me now, believe me later. Every day that passes, it will become increasingly torturous to be on Jehovah's side of the fence. Every day, what? We're not getting any we're not going backwards! We're not getting closer to 1914! We keep getting further away from it! Anyway, well, he doesn't say anything back. He just disappears into the woodwork again. I've noticed, I'll tell you something, these JWs, you say a couple things back to them, they disappear. These W feel burdensome to you. And Mike changes the subject a little bit and says, "Are you a man of God, JW Fairy Tale?" Am I a man of God? I am a man that knows nobody is good except one, God. I am a man who believes the Bible's word that there is no man righteous on this earth, and that all of mankind are defective, and all of them together have become worthless. Jehovah has looked down from heaven itself upon the sons of men to see whether there is anyone having insight, anyone seeking Jehovah. Guess what? They have all turned aside. They are all alike, corrupt. There is no one doing good, not even one. So I am trying to understand the boldness of those who would go beyond things written and disfellowship someone celebrating a birthday when there is no such law of forbiddance in God's word. And I referred Mike to, well, we'll take a look at it here. This is just a a page from JW Facts here. Oh, we don't have time to read through all this, but it's on the topic of birthday celebrations, which is a big hang-up for the Jehovah's Witnesses. They mean business. You celebrate a birthday, you get disfellowshipped. This disfellowshipping offense, we're talking about the end of your life. We're talking about death at Armageddon over a birthday party. And, well, this goes into, if you have time, take a look at this. I'll post a link below. You know, it's just something that's comes with the package of being a JW, and most people just don't even think about it. It's like, oh, I became a JW, so I don't celebrate birthdays now. And they don't even think about it. When they go through their study and they say, well, you have to give up birthdays, and they say, oh, and they say, well, it's because birthday was only mentioned twice in the Bible, and both times it was a worldly person. Didn't serve Jehovah. So what do you think Jehovah's trying to tell us? Well, it's the two bad birthdays.